The gift of life has always been perceived as one of the greatest miracles of medical science. Transplant surgeons work towards giving patients this new lease of life. India has one of the lowest organ donation rates among developed and developing nations. Every year, 5 million people die due to unavailability of organs. In this episode, Let's Talk Health, hear the specialists from Apollo Institute of Transplant discuss the latest innovation.
Transplantation represents one of the best examples of the scientific achievements of medical science. Transplantation is exchange of a sick organ with another functional or normal organ. The surgical procedure is called transplantation.
Transplantation is a big word. For the first time that a patient hears it, they are desperately hoping that you will come up with some concessions. By and large, people who reach us as a tertiary referral practice, they all need a transplant. I mean, you undergo a transplant successfully, you live a long life, healthy and happy. But if you don't undergo successfully, that may be your last day. It is like jumping off an aircraft at 30,000 feet, with a parachute. If your parachute opens, it's going to be a beautiful landing. You feel like a bird. You fly the skies. It's almost a heavenly experience. But what if the parachute doesn't open?
The number of patients desperately needing a transplant far outnumbers the available organs. Living donor or a cadaver donor, organ donation is the greatest gift that one can give to someone. It is the gift of life. Leela, a mother of 3 and a successful businesswoman, was a carefree, vivacious person. Until in 2003 when she suddenly got sick and found out that she had a liver disease.
I was married at the age of 19. I come from a business family. I was a housewife till the children were about 10, 11. Then I joined my husband in business, and I've been a rather successful business person, very much living out of suitcases, recognizing cities only by airports. Maybe unconsciously I was part of the rat race. Then finally my body gave up and I became sick in 2004.
I think it was around 2003-2004 that we discovered that her liver was pretty bad. And then she started feeling very tired. Then there are episodes, at least once in 2 months you would have an episode of gastritis, all kinds of things. Even doctors here were not really aware of transplant as an option.
In Leela's case, what happened was she had been on medicines and in various hospitals trying to get medical treatment for her liver disease, and her disease was progressing rapidly. Her liver cirrhosis was progressing and her kidneys had actually shut down, and by the time she came forward for a transplant, she was on dialysis. So she had not only liver but also renal shutdown. But with testing we ascertained that her kidney injury was probably acute and secondary to the liver failure, and that what it What was important was that she needed a liver transplant early.
The very first thing is when somebody tells you you're ill, your first thing is, this can't happen to me. I can't be going down. I met the doctors in 2009 in Chennai, and I was told by the gastroenterologist Dr. Sarojini, who saw me first, and then she sent me to Dr. Anand Kakkar, the surgeon, and both of them said, you need a transplant ASAP.
She came quite sick. She wasn't sure if liver transplant was for her. But after talking to us and after being counseled by her family members, she agreed to give this a shot. She wanted to take a shot at life.
Leela was put on a waiting list for a liver transplantation.
This actually gave us a ray of hope. But because till then, there was no hope. Okay, the liver becomes fatty, then it becomes bad, then it becomes cirrhotic. That's the prognosis. But now this gave us a ray of hope, and that is a major difference.
After she was listed, while she was waiting for an organ to become available, she deteriorated. Water had accumulated in her belly and in her legs, and she was on dialysis. She was almost comatose at the time of transplant. And I distinctly remember that a brain death patient was identified in a hospital in Coimbatore, and our team flew to Coimbatore. One team was retrieving those organs in Coimbatore, and we started to sort of move her to the operation theatre. She was not in a position to communicate. She was so sick that we were not sure if we will be able to pull her out of the theatre. But like I said, she had a zest for life. She was fighting even while she was under anesthesia, and it was all the efforts of not just the medical teams but herself as well that helped us through.
It was a successful surgery, and post-surgery a lot of precautions have to be taken to avoid infections.
The surgery has been successful. So the first thing I called my children, obviously, whatever time it was. Called all of them and spoke to them, and they were really, really happy about it.
You have to be really careful post-transplant, which I give all the credit, the 100% credit to my husband for taking such good care of me. He was very clear that visitors were not allowed into the room. And my life was basically only in my room. That's why my husband wrote very clearly there, if this is a restricted area, you have to enter, you have to wipe your hands with hand sanitizer, wear a mask, and if you had to give me anything, you had to wear gloves.
During one of her routine checkups, Leela stumbled upon a new passion in life. A passion so different than anything else that she was doing all her life.
Post-surgery, when I went to Madras for a checkup, I had come to Bangalore and I had gone back to Madras for a checkup, my first checkup. Dr. Anand Kakkar asked me, he said, what are you going to do now? I don't know how it just came out that I said astronomy. I knew there was a lot more to the universe than I knew, and I wanted to learn it. A lot of people have told me things like, oh, you're lucky to be alive. The doctors themselves would say things like, you are a terminal case, did you know that? And I just looked at it, I said, in the grand scale of things, I said, I'm so small. When I look at the universe, I see so many galaxies. Every galaxy has billions of stars. I'm sure even in our galaxy there's more life than what we could. So who am I in this 13.7 billion years of creation? Who am I?
Kalyan has never seen her look better and couldn't be happier with her recovery.
If you see that somebody who is normally look like a vegetable continues to be a vegetable, it's fine. But somebody who is bubbly and enthusiastic and has such a strong hold on life, if you see her in that kind of a situation, and then she comes back to that bubbly self, that was a major, major change.
Seriously, I started believing one thing is paid future. Whatever I'm going to do somebody has donated an organ to me. The only way I can repay that back is by living a full life.
It has been a matter of huge joy and satisfaction to us that we have been able to allow somebody so positive to continue life and celebrate life. With her we discovered this line called celebrating a second chance to live.
It's not a new lease of life. It is life. It's a completely different method of living. And I think that is the most wondrous gift.
She has transformed from a typical businesswoman to someone who absorbs a lot of nature, does reading and wants to know about stars and finds meaning in such things.
My new lease of life, it makes such a difference to me. I cannot ever meet or thank the donors in my lifetime, but somewhere they know that their relative lives on somewhere in somebody, and I really respect that feeling, and I feel like 24 hours is not enough. And that is the main insight that I've got post-transplant. Time is precious.
Dinesh has lived all his life with heart muscle disease. When his health took a dramatic turn for the worse, he learned he needed a heart transplant. His story coming up on the other side of the break. Dinesh's journey began many years ago. His parents were informed that he had a hole in his heart when he was 1.5 years old.
தினேஷ் ஒரு 1.5 வயசு வரைக்கும் நல்லா இருந்தான். ஒரு சளி இருமல் வந்துன்னு ஃபேமிலி டாக்டர்கிட்ட போய் காமிச்சோம், கைனகாலஜிஸ்ட் தான். அப்போ அவங்க வந்து ஹார்ட்டில் வந்து லப்டாப்ங்கிற சவுண்டோட எக்ஸ்ட்ரா ஒரு சவுண்டு வருது அப்படின்னாங்க. அதனால ஹார்ட் ஸ்பெஷலிஸ்ட் யார்கிட்ட காமிக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு பக்கத்தில் ஒரு டாக்டர்கிட்ட போய் காமிச்சோம். அவங்க பார்த்துட்டு ஸ்கேன் பண்ணி பார்க்கணும் அப்படின்னாங்க. அப்போல்லாம் ஸ்கேன் அவ்வளோ இங்கே இல்லை, பூந்தமல்லியில் போய் பார்க்கணும் அப்படின்னாங்க. நான் கொஞ்சம் அழுதுட்டு திரும்ப கேட்டேன், என்ன சொல்லுங்கள் அப்படின்ட்டு. அவர் ஃபஸ்ட்டு சொல்லலை, திரும்ப நான் ரொம்ப கம்பல் பண்ணோன்னு இந்த மாதிரி ஹார்ட்டில் ஹோல் இருந்தாலும் இருக்கலாம், அதனால் நீங்கள் நாளைக்கு வாங்க ஸ்கேன் பண்ணி பார்ப்போம் அப்படின்னாங்க. நான் அழுதுட்டு வீட்டுக்கு வந்துட்டு என்னோடய பிரதர் ஃபோன் பண்ணி இந்த மாதிரி சொல்கிறாங்க, ஹார்ட்டில் ஹோல்னு சொல்கிறாங்க அப்படின்னு.
His tests showed cardiomyopathy or heart muscle disease, which causes the heart muscle to become large, thick or stiff and less able to pump blood to meet the body's needs.
Dinesh came to me, I think, when he was just in higher secondary school. He was very, very sick. He had already had the disease for about more than 5 to 6 years. I mean, he had not had it diagnosed for 2 years prior to that. So about almost 7 years he has been suffering. He has a particular kind of a heart muscle weakness, it's called cardiomyopathy, but he's got something called a restrictive cardiomyopathy. So whereas in most cardiomyopathies the heart muscle does not function to pump well enough, here it doesn't relax well enough. And because it doesn't relax well enough, every time the blood comes in, it causes a back pressure into the lungs and into the other organs, which is the liver and the kidneys. He was very sick. He could barely walk to the toilet. He was constantly unwell, couldn't attend school.
When I was 6th standard, with everyone I was playing, and suddenly I thought I had a more breathing problem than. So we went to doctor and got checkup. So they said muscle growth was there. So due to that it can be there like that. So but that time there was no cure. So they said we can on the way we can check up like that. Till 10th standard I was coping with the problem. I used to sit in class and not go to games and all. I won't play, just I will go to school. Even I won't go to prayer because prayer will be in ground, so I can't climb stairs. I am not that much with friends get together, that and all I couldn't able to do. So around while I'm studying 10th standard, I suddenly fainted. So that became so serious problem.
அப்போல்லாம் ஒன்றும் செய்ய முடியாதுன்ட்டாங்க. 24 hours பார்ப்போம். அப்புறம் ஹஸ்பண்ட் வந்து சொன்னாங்க இந்த மாதிரி பேஸ் மேக்கர் வைக்கணும், வச்சா வந்து லைஃப் இதாக இருக்கும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னாங்க. வச்சாங்க. 1 month ஹாஸ்பிட்டலில் இருந்தோம். அப்புறம் அவரால் ரொம்ப அந்த ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்ஷன் ரொம்ப இது பண்ணக்கூடாது. எவ்வளோ 7th வரைக்கும் எவ்வளோ ஆக்டிவாக சைக்கிளில் போயிட்டு என்ன இருந்தாலும் அப்படியே ஆப்போசிட்டாக அவன் பசங்களோட விளையாட முடியாது. அவன் ரொம்ப ஆசைப்படுவான்.
I itself know that I can't enjoy life like others. I thought it will be like my full life will go through like this only. I thought there is no cure for me, and at last I will end my life as it is.
He had end-stage heart failure. He had a condition called as restrictive cardiomyopathy, and his right atrium and left atrium were so swollen, and his functional status, and what it means is he'll not be able to walk maybe 100 feet in a go. So he was that sick, he was. So at that time we evaluated him, and his kidney function is also was slightly abnormal. So which means like the heart failure started affecting the kidney. In that phase he came.
Dinesh underwent heart transplantation within a month, and after spending few weeks in the hospital, he was allowed to go home.
We did the heart transplantation. In the post-op, he had a few issues with the kidney, and we dialyzed him for a day or two. Then everything became normal. His kidney started working, and he was fine. The thing is, in India especially, is chance of infection. The more number of days they stay in the ICU, the chance of infection is more. If you would have been referred to us somewhere earlier, then you would have done the transplantation. You would have walked home in around 6 days time. That's what we are doing now for a straightforward transplantation now. Because he was referred to us with the kidney failure, he was forced to stay on a dialysis in the ICU. So that extended his ICU stay for 2 or 3 days more, and we are highly worried about his infection. Luckily, he didn't have any infection. Then he was forced to stay in the hospital for 2 weeks or so. So identification of the patient at the right time is very important.
After that only, now I am eating well, enjoying well. So like others, I am feeling normal.
On a personal level, most of these patients are so sick, and I often wonder whether I would be as brave as them if I was as sick as them. And I've seen these kind of sick patients for more than 20 years. And each time I feel quite inspired, because these are actually quite young people who should be doing other things in life, not being worried about death, but that is what they are. They get up every day, facing death in the face.
He attributes his recovery to his doctors, nurses, family and friends, especially his parents.
I'm the only child for them. They didn't think that, see, my only child has a problem. They never thought like that. Without them, I wouldn't have survived those period. They didn't say, see, you are like this. Whatever you do. Those period also, they said, no problem, you go through, no one will say anything. They supported a lot. My dad, that's what, even if you don't play outside, I will buy you a video game, whatever indoor game you want, I will you say. And those time only I bought computer, laptops, TV, whatever I wanted, he will buy me. So I used that as a...
Today, Dinesh is healthy and enjoying life. With his renewed lease on life, he enjoys going to his CA classes and hopes to clear his exams in the first attempt.
Hello everybody, I'm here to give you an update on Mrs. Leela and Mr. Dinesh. Mrs. Leela always had an interest in astronomy, and after her transplant decided to pursue it. She got a telescope, read several books, joined a club of amateur astronomers, and of course spent countless nights stargazing. Now she is an expert astronomer and even gives talks on it. Mr. Dinesh, who had undergone a heart transplant, is now leading a normal life, which includes returning back to his profession. Folks, the pinnacle of medical expertise is the ability to perform multi-organ transplants. As one of the world's leading organ transplant programs, we continue to marvel and experience the resilience of the human spirit manifested in the courage of our patients and the expertise of our clinical teams. It continues to remind us just how priceless life really is. Till we meet again next week on Let's Talk Health, goodbye for now.